I've been having a great conference so far. I've seen some really interesting sessions on EAP-related topics, really from around the world, which I really enjoy. One of the fun things about a conference like this that's so specialized is that you get to really geek out and explore topics that in the context of a wider ELT conference might seem very niche, but here they all have their place within the variety of sessions on offer. So I've been really enjoying that so far. My context in Canada, where I teach, is at a university language center, so overseeing the EAP program and other programs, so EAP pre-sessional, in-sessional, as well as some general English programs. And so one thing that is great about being here and connecting with folks teaching EAP around the world is kind of comparing and contrasting their context to ours in Canada. So Canada is, as with a lot of things, we're partway between, we have one foot in the UK, we share a lot of practices with the UK, we have a lot of influence from the US, and then there's a host of things that we kind of do in our own way as well. So it's great, learning, seeing what's happening in, because there is a very strong UK presence. So what's happening in UK higher education, for example, and there's a lot of points in common. So especially around EAP practitioner identity, the relationship to the rest of the university, to content or subject lecturers. So that relationship is of importance and is being figured out everywhere. And then I can kind of contrast with some aspects of the Canadian context that are maybe different from the UK. Mm-hmm. So there's, in terms of the structure and nature of the higher education programs that EAP programs are leading into, the kind of official, federally mandated multiculturalism and multilingualism, plurilingualism in a lot of Canadian contexts. So that is an element at play in a lot of our programs as well. And but I saw, for example, speaking of multilingualism and plurilingualism, I saw a session this morning with some colleagues from South Africa, and they explained this very complex set of historical aspects of the context that, in terms of racial divide as well as linguistic divide in South African higher education, and so that was fascinating as well to see the differences and to see how they navigate that web of features. So, yeah, the international flavor and comparing it to Canada is a really important part of being here for me. I guess that maybe the easiest one to start with is probably innovation, because it could be really easy to see how an idea that someone from a different context might present on here at the conference, and how they could share their experience, and then if I tried to take this back and adapt it to the Canadian context, I would be innovating. So in terms of those three the conference themes, innovation, exploration, transformation, innovation is probably a big one, an easy one to see the connection with. Exploration, I would probably say, and especially in the plenary sessions so far, they throw out some big ideas and some concepts for us all to explore, I guess, in terms of applying them to our practice, each of our professional practices in our own context. So, and maybe the transformation as well, because especially, well, I guess both of the plenary speakers so far when talking about ideas around agency, for example, this morning, as well as yesterday in the talk about proofreading and its connection to EAP practice. If they presented and suggested some ideas that really could lead to transformation, not only of one's personal practice, but also the programs, the courses that we run, the curriculum that we design. So yeah, I guess any good conference is going to hopefully lead to some type of transformational practice. One thing that people kind of bring up about conferences is like, in this day and age with webinars and online stuff, and why does anyone go to face-to-face conferences anymore? But I really do maintain, and the online stuff is a great complement to face-to-face conferences, but there's just another element that you get out of a face-to-face situation. And a lot of it is around not just the sessions, but the networking and mingling and conversations and chats over the coffee break or whatever. And so far, online conferences, the sessions, the talks, and the format of the talks has transferred over well into digital format. But it's the other stuff, the interstitial, the intangible stuff that kind of emerges out of the time in between sessions or networking, that the online environment hasn't really, been able to capture yet. Who knows? But anyway, so I think that there's still a great value to coming to a face-to-face conference, and especially in something, an area like EAP. And so, yeah, I'm very happy that I made the journey.